This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by INTRConnect by CoreLogic. Get ready to take your restoration business beyond all limits at INTRConnect 2025. Join CoreLogic January 13th through 15th in LA for an unforgettable event packed with hands-on training, exclusive breakout sessions, and insights from industry leaders, including keynote speaker Mike Ebeling, founder of Not Impossible Labs. Whether you're looking to level up your field operations, boost profitability, or earn certifications, INTRConnect 2025 has it all. Don't miss out. Register today at interconnect.corelogic.com. Hey, restorers, welcome to this episode of the Restoration Today podcast. We're welcoming Garret Gray back. He's been here many times, and we're talking about INTRConnect 2025. So for those of you who don't know, Garret is the president of Protect Insurance Solutions at CoreLogic. He has been in the industry for a very long time, understands technology very well from a number of angles, and INTRConnect is a really great show in the industry that brings in companies of all different sizes to have a lot of different conversations. The way that they do their tracks is different from other shows in the industry. So we're going to get into kind of all of that. So Garret, welcome in. I'm going to toss it over for you to introduce yourself first.
Yeah, thanks. I was afraid you're about to steal all my thunder with your amazing intro there.
That's it.
Okay, so my name is Garret Gray. I have grown up in the restoration industry almost quite literally. I have been in all sorts of roles. So I've been out on a truck. I've been in black water situations, mold situations, out in the field. I've been on the marketing side of building restoration companies. I was a consultant for a while, helping people with their business practices, and eventually turned that into a software company that was focused on building restoration contractors into more profitable, scalable businesses. And then that, morphed into a kind of a carrier side offering where we were connecting carriers and contractors together and helping them speed up the estimate and settlement process. And all of that culminated 3 years ago in being purchased by a company called CoreLogic. CoreLogic is a huge property data provider and workflows provider, which includes things like if you have a mortgage here in the United States and you pay taxes to your mortgage company for property taxes, we probably service that. We probably helped in the underwriting process of your mortgage. And all that does is it gives us a lot of kind of access to data around property, which then can be useful in the restoration and insurance context. So today I lead the entire insurance group globally, which includes everything from cat risk, underwriting, and our estimatics and claims workflow technology, all the way to restoration and all of our different offerings for restoration contractors. So I know it's a long intro, but there you go.
Now everybody's looking at you thinking there's no way you're old enough to have done all that. So props to you, because that was a lot to have, and you are young still. So.
That's just because I've got the beauty filter on Zoom turned up to 100%. So if I were to dial it back down, I look like a different person.
Sure. I bet. Okay, really quick before we jump into INTRConnect, because you were talking about all the data that CoreLogic has, and it's been an interesting year in the industry. So I would just love your quick take on what this year has been like from your standpoint, like what the market has looked like. And I don't know, what has the year looked like to you from the CoreLogic standpoint?
First of all, it's crazy that this year is basically over. It was, I think, an interesting year. One of prices starting to settle a bit, inflation starting to come down, I think, which is good. Definitely, 2 hurricanes back to back. That was a bit of a fire drill here at the end of the year. But the industry is continuing to be on this track of looking to automate more, digitize more of the process. You're seeing continued consolidation within our space, and you're seeing carriers continue to push the envelope and embrace new technologies, albeit maybe a little slower than they were during COVID, just because COVID, required a huge acceleration there. And there's been a little bit of a return back to a little normal operating style. But I think what happened during COVID really set the train in motion, and that direction is not going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, Yep, I agree with that. Okay, so let's talk about INTRConnect. That's what we're here to talk about. So INTRConnect is happening January 13th through 15th in LA. It's at the LA Live, which is a JW Marriott. It's a beautiful venue. It's great. So for people who have not attended INTRConnect, what is it?
Yeah, so InterConnect is essentially a, a space we've created to kind of accomplish a few things. One, a big part of how we view our role in the industry is to be a bridge builder between all the different stakeholders. So we're not looking to divide carriers and contractors. We want to find a place to have really constructive conversations that get to the root of issues for both sides so that we can get to better outcomes. It's not just carriers and contractors. There's technology providers and adjusters and independent adjusters, and there's a whole group of people that are all tackling the same problem of getting policyholders back to pre-loss condition and as smoothly and affordably as possible, while we're building restoration businesses that we want to be profitable and available during times of needs. As well as all of us being a part of an industry that's so important because insurability is something that is becoming more difficult nowadays. And so at CoreLogic, we help carriers with the data they need to figure out how to place and price risk, which is a big part of how we, on the front end of our industry, how we make sure that there are insurance providers willing to provide insurance in every state for every peril, so that we have something to restore and someone to fund it when there's an incident.
Perfect.
So I think what makes InterConnect different is that it brings all of those pieces together. So there's underwriters, there's cat risk managers, there are insurance executives, and generally at a pretty high level. Like I think one of the things that I hear a lot of comments on, the people that we attract from the insurance side don't normally come to shows in our space. And that provides a huge opportunity for those who want to interact with and influence and have a kind of a seat at the table and talking to these carriers, because they're coming with the intention to learn. And so if you want to influence kind of at the top of the house of how carriers operate, this is a really good way to do that. And on top of that, you mentioned earlier, the thing that makes us really unique is that we focus on content in a way that is I think different than most shows. The quality of the content is I think bar none. But on top of that, for restoration contractors, because that was our primary focus in the beginning of our business, we have multiple tracks. So we've got a track, for owners. That's just, only for owners of restoration companies to get together. The content is tailored for you, and then you get a way to network with other owners. Same with general managers and coordinators and sales folks. So we basically break out into different tracks so that each of your business leaders from each part of your business can interact with others in the same cohort and get content that is specifically designed for them. So it's designed to bring your team. It's designed at the beginning of the year because it's also kind of where you kick off your strategy for the rest of the year, learn, from other people, and then be a part of a really probably the best of the industry coming together to chart, what the next year is going to look like.
Yep. There are absolutely tracks for everyone. I know that I've been part of like an accounting track, which you don't want me part of accounting anything, but then no, don't show me the numbers. You don't want me in there, but that's fine. Okay. Talk about the big, I know that you have a big theme every year. So what's the big theme this year?
Yeah. So this year it's about taking everything beyond all limits. And, one of the things that I've been thinking about in my life and other people that are, I think, really great examples of kind of these artificial limits that are put on us or that we put on ourselves, and the idea of challenging those limits and pushing beyond that. And that's something that we're striving to do at CoreLogic, something I'm trying to do in my own personal life. And I think, we're going to set the stage because I think there are limits that people perceive there to be inside of insurance that don't really exist. They're just kind of part of a status quo system that we're trying to bust up. And so this is about making everybody think differently and chart a different way forward, not accepting limits that we've, think have been on there on us for forever in our space.
Okay. Do you have any like speaker highlights or things that you want to tease out, whether it's a keynote or a general session, whatever that may be?
Yeah. So first of all, like we're in this, like if you've been before, one of the things that you will probably say is, oh, the production value is pretty good. Like we
Yes.
make it feel very immersive. I don't know. Do you agree?
It's
Like,
oh yeah, the beginning and like the videos that play and the lights and the sound and all of it is like, dang, this is so impressive. Yes.
and would you think that like we could top what we did last year?
I feel like that would be tough. The production value is pretty extreme. And I feel like I do have a good gauge on that coming from TV. I have a background in like
Yeah.
media and stuff. And so when I see production quality, I'm like, yes.
So the goal is that we're going to still top last year, and so we've got some things up our sleeve. So if you think like, oh, I've seen it, like there's no way they can do something that it's all going to be the same, and I don't need to like see what they put together. I promise you, you come again, and we have completely topped our production value even from last year. And what's cool about this particular like venue is that it is you know kind of we basically own the whole hotel. Like it will
Mhm.
just be our group. And it's big and open, and it's going to really set a really great collaborative vibe. But on the content and the production value is going to be continue to be very high, and surpass last year. Our keynote that is going to kind of be part of my keynote, but then we'll carry on, is Mick Ebling from Not Impossible Labs, kind of on that theme of how do you take what you think is impossible and challenge that? So I think it's going to be really great, not just for you to hear that, but to bring your teams to hear that, because you don't want them to kind of be limited by their own beliefs. And we're gonna challenge all of those things for you and your team.
Was it last year that you were engaging with like the AI
Yeah.
person in your
Yeah.
keynotes? You're topping that this year. That was really cool.
Yeah, this is like a whole new level of immersing and kind of bringing you into the home and into the property, and kind of thinking through all of the challenges that we're solving. AI is a big component of what we're focused on in terms of the solutions that we're delivering, and how we're talking about what's impacting our industry. And so yeah, you'll definitely come see the latest and greatest. That's for sure.
Okay. What do you look forward to most when it comes to Interconnect? Is there something that stands out in your head as like every year, this is the number one thing I look forward to with the event?
Can I admit something? Like
Yep,
the thing
please.
I look forward to the most is the bar at 11 o'clock at night. Like
Yes.
I think that's where like the best conversations happen. It's where like you might be with a claims executive from a carrier that you have had struggles with, and they've had several drinks, and they're at a bar, and they're with you and maybe some CoreLogic person, and you're just talking about things and making relationships. I think the bar is this, especially at our event, is kind of the secret sauce. Like it is where things happen. It's where decisions get made. It's kind of like the proverbial golf tournament, right? But I think that's what I look forward to the most, because I get to meet new people, but I also have friends that I've had in the industry for 20 years, and we're all kind of there in all, regardless of what our roles are, and people are just interacting and networking and having good conversations and building relationships, which I think is the best part of the event.
Yeah. I try to tell people all
Beyond my keynote, I think
the
the keynote maybe
might be, I don't know. We'll see. Depends on if you talk to an AI thing again or not, because that was really cool.
I'm not revealing any of my tricks.
Okay, that's fine. But you're right about the bar. I try to encourage people, especially who are new to the space. Some people scurry off to their hotel rooms
Yeah.
really early. And it's like, if you are missing that networking opportunity, even if you don't drink, still just go and like hang out, have a club soda in your hand or whatever. But you're missing really good networking opportunities if you don't do stuff like that.
And it can be deceiving, because what happens is there is content all day, and everyone is networking and learning and getting together all day. And then there's like usually some event that we throw that's like a party, or something at night. Every night there's something different, and it'll be really cool, and there'll be some theme, and it'll be very entertaining, and you'll have fun. But then like people go off to dinners. So like if you're new to this kind of event or this thing, like it does clear out, and for like 2 hours people are doing their dinner meetings. And so you'll want to either set up those dinner meetings yourself, which if you've done these things before, you know how to do that. But if you're kind of new to this, yes, it will clear out. But then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock,
Mhm.
11 o'clock, everyone then starts coming back to the hotel, going to the bar. If you came to the first inaugural one in Los Angeles, we had a miscommunication with the hotel, and they closed our bar down early. And we were like, no, like this, it was, I had an argument with the person at the bar. Like they're like, no, we're not staying. It was past like 12 or something. This time we have like negotiated into the contract. The bar stays open to 2. And so like people start to come back. So even if you don't have a dinner planned, don't think the night's over. Get back into the bar, 10 o'clock or so. And then it's a whole nother level of being able to interact with people.
What do you hope people come away from the show with? Do you have any hopes of like, if you attend INTRConnect, I hope you go back to your company with X?
Yeah, look, I really feel like there's a couple of things we try to accomplish. We want to inspire you to be your best self, but as an individual, but also as a company. So whatever that is for you, and it's different for everybody. The amount of time we put into thinking through the content so that we can inspire you to kind of trigger like what would make you be your best self as a person, what goals you want to hit, and how do you remove any beliefs that are limiting you from hitting those goals, and then how do you interact with other people that can help you get there, and just being a part of other people who are thinking the same way as you and trying to accomplish the same thing is a huge benefit to the event. So I really hope people, it sounds corny, but I hope they walk away inspired to do some great things in their business, and that people bring their teams so that they have a team of people that are also inspired, helping them in their businesses to do that. And I like, it's hard to explain to others, and even like, let's say on my board, right, why we spend so much money on this event, because it's like, do you really need to spend that much? Is the production value that impactful? And in my opinion, it is. And the reason why it is because it's part of the magic that kind of inspires people to think differently. And so that's why I'm so passionate about like what we actually produce. And I hope people walk away inspired.
Okay, I was trying to decide where I wanted to take the conversation next. That happens to me in these sometimes, and I have like so many questions, I don't know where to go. How does this differ from, I know that you do an event in Europe as every year as well, right? You do an INTRConnect there. How does it differ from that? Like, what's different? I'm sure that maybe the industry itself is different over there, but what's different? What's the same? What is that like?
Yeah, so Europe is really interesting. I think that, oh, my watch was talking to me. So yeah, Europe is I think it's a great team over there. We have a little bit of a different market position in Europe. I won't mention our competitor over here, but over there we have like 85% of the market. Where here we're a little bit more of a challenger brand on the Estimatic side. And so it's a little bit of a different kind of vibe there. I also think there's what's interesting about Europe is there's a global reinsurance aspect to it, which we don't really tackle too much. We do address it at our show, but it's London and Lloyd's of London is like where all that started. And so that is one of those kind of hubs for that kind of stuff. But the content is very similar, and it's a good kind of waypoint in between our event earlier this year and the one that's coming up early next year. And so, like, if you want a tax write-off and you want to come next year to Europe to just get a sense of what's happening over there and get a little preview of what's to come for INTRConnect in LA or whatever city we're going to be in, I highly encourage you to come to both. We'd love to engage with you there too.
Every time it comes around, I'm like, I'm going to be a CoreLogic groupie one of these days just to go and like, I don't know, because
I love London. London's fun.
Who doesn't want to go to London?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring that back. So INTRConnect is in LA in
Yes.
January, and you live in LA. So I would love for you to give a few tips, people arriving early, staying late, whatever that may be. You have any like local recommendations for those of us who might be there and want to do something fun?
Yeah, so like there's a ton of things to do just in downtown. So downtown LA can get a bad rap because there is a homeless problem in LA, but like the area that we're in is not as affected. And so there's the stadium where the Lakers play, the crypto stadium is like right there, like 2-second walk. In fact, when I went to the Lakers game just a couple nights ago, I literally, to get an Uber to go home, because I was drinking at the game, and I'm a responsible person. I walk right to the JW Marriott
Yeah.
live, go to the front desk, or the kind of the where you pull in and order my Uber there, because all
Oh,
the crowds
perfect.
go somewhere else, and I just go that way. So it's that
Way
close.
easier. Yeah.
There's a Laker game a bunch of us will be going to. It was really fun last time we were in LA. That I don't know, over 100+ people went to the Laker game just randomly, like on their own, and then kind of saw each other, and that was great. There's Listen, if you're a fan of Mexican food, okay, like this LA, in my opinion, has the best Mexican food, in the world. I mean, maybe outside of Mexico where it's a little more traditional, but this is really great Mexican food in general. There's a restaurant called Mama por Dias, which I highly recommend. Great tequila, great food. There's a location in downtown LA, and if you want to get out of downtown LA, there's one in Beverly Hills here as well. LA is a really diverse area. So there's a lot to do in downtown LA, but I also would highly recommend coming down to West Hollywood or Beverly Hills. Mr. Chow's if you want to do Chinese in a really upscale way, that's another great option. If you want to do celebrity sightings, get a reservation at Craig's. You never know who you'll see at Craig's. So lots of things to do here, depending on what kind of vibe you're looking for. Highly recommend Mexican food. And if you want to get there's Leo's Taco Truck. There's a ton. So if you come, you find me at the bar, I will give you all recommendations that you can handle.
I'm here for all the Mexican food and all the tequila and all the margaritas. Give it all to me.
The tequilas are. I'm a tequila fan.
Yeah, I am too. Have you had any fun celebrity sightings?
I mean, yeah, we see in LA, when you live here, it kind of is so normal. You don't make a big deal, but I've seen Nicole Kidman, I've seen Tom Cruise, I've seen Brad Pitt, I've seen all sorts of B-level stars too, reality stars. If you're into reality TV, you might, you can go to Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant, Sir. Tom Tom's, if you're into reality. So it's all here. It's if you're into it, you can definitely come experience it. That's for sure.
I love it. Okay. Anything else you want to tease about INTRConnect? For people who are listening, you can register at interconnect.corelogic.com. It's INTRConnect.corelogic.com. They also have a huge billboard across the CNR website. So if you don't want to go there, you can go to the CNR website and click over to it. Easy to find. But what else do people need to know?
Listen, well, first, thank you for your sponsorship of the event and your promotion of the event. You are our exclusive media sponsor. So thank you so much for all the work that you do just in the industry in general, but also what you do to help support what I think is an important event. What I don't want people to think about this event is that it's a user conference for CoreLogic. Yes, obviously there is some connection to the stuff that we're creating for the industry, and there is ways to learn more about that here, but that is definitely not the primary intent. The primary intent, I think, is to come collaborate, be a part of what drives the industry forward, be around the top leaders in the space, the best thinkers, the best minds, learn and teach. I think all of us are able to learn and teach, and the more diverse of a group that we get to come, I don't care if you're, a small mom and pop and you've got, a 5-person team, you have something to contribute. We've got to learn from you, and you can learn from somebody who is maybe what your goal is, maybe if, a multi-location regional player, right? All these people will be gathered together again at the bar. Of course, and what I like about our community, at least in my experience, I see guys and gals who are running big operations are happy to teach people in smaller locations and impart the knowledge that they've got. This is a really open and kind of caring group where they're okay sharing their secret sauce. And we really get to take advantage of that, because on top of just the keynote, mine or the guy that we're bringing outside the industry to help inspire you, you're going to see some of the best thinkers on stage, and freely imparting their wisdom, which I think is a really special thing, and it speaks a lot about the industry that we're all in.
Yes, it does. Garret, it's always a pleasure having you here. I look forward to seeing you in 2 months. We're recording this in mid-November. The event
Don't
is 2 months
don't tell
away.
me I'm so stressed.
You still have 2 months to go. Don't be too stressed yet. It's like,
Oh,
this is bigger than planning a wedding. Like, the events
it
are a
is.
lot every
It is.
single year. So kudos to you and your team. You do a great job. So I look forward to seeing you in LA in a few months.
All right. I look forward to it. Come hang out with us.
I'm here for it.
For more Restoration Today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, and find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.